What's up, my guys? Hot guy pro tip of the day, and this one might get me canceled. It's not your job to fix damaged goods, a toxic ex, childhood trauma, low self-esteem. You get the drift. It's all shit. Don't get me wrong, but please understand that you can't restructure your life in hopes of saving someone else's. There's a difference between supporting and sacrificing. Don't sacrifice your stability in hopes of providing somebody else with their own. You'll only end up both failing in the end.
Hey y'all, welcome back, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Lumi, and today we're going to be looking at some more TikToks about relationships and trauma. So this one's going to be kind of a heavy topic, something that I feel like I have to struggle with and work on, but you know, this stuff is important. Like I say in my other videos, I think it's important to be aware of stuff like this. If you're on the path of healing, or if you're secure in yourself and you want to look for the warning signs in someone that you might be dating. But yeah, let's take a look at these TikToks. We'll come to some conclusions. I'll give you a little bit about what I think about them, and yeah, maybe we'll get a thing or two out of it.
It is so freaking refreshing to finally not be the one that's trauma dumping on dates anymore. Now that I'm on the other side of it, now that I have done the work, I have sealed my boundaries so freaking tight, girl. The men are now the ones trauma dumping, and woohoo! I can't believe I used to be like, wow, like, I really don't understand, man. Honestly, just like sit back and observe and just like leave a space there for the men to just like, blah, 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 blah. They'll just say everything. These men are just telling everything right away. They are so freaking transparent. They will tell you exactly, you know, what they think of you, what they're looking for, their problems. I mean, they're trauma dumping on me now on the first day. You'll pretty much, you know, if you just sit and listen and absorb, you will really be able to get a pulse on their values, their self-esteem, their fears, their insecurities, their luck or unluck in dating, and what they're looking for, and to get a sense of if a man has no game, or he has no luck on the dating market, or he hates all women, he thinks all his exes are crazy, aka he thinks all women are crazy. Yeah, it's just great. Like, these men are just such an open book now. And once you have your boundaries properly zipped up, you are going to be able to start reading the men like a book.
I don't know if she like thinks this is a bad thing or a good thing. I can't really get a good like read on her about this, but I think it's a good thing that people are a little bit more open, a little bit more honest with their intentions. I think it's important to have like to be pretty direct with your intentions, because a lot of people now, they just like to play these games, you know, on like the dating apps. And I mean, I've said in other videos, like I personally don't care for that stuff. You know, I'll give you like a little bit of leeway, like because I know like life gets in the way and stuff, but I really don't have time for like the drama, I guess, or just like, you know, if you're not gonna respect my time, then I'm not gonna respect yours, and I'm just gonna move on, you know. But yeah, I think I don't know. Some people, let me know in the comments, like, have you noticed this? But I feel like we use these like new buzzwords, like trauma dumping, for example, so like lightly sometimes that it could just be someone opening up to you, and you're like, oh, it's trauma dumping, you know, and like slap this I guess negative label on it when someone's just trying to be like honest and open with you, or you're like sharing like an intimate and close, you know, human experience, right? That's where I have like a problem with it. If it's like actual trauma dumping, like I've seen some videos, there was this one that went kind of viral of it was like one of those stupid like people interviewing people, like usually interviewing drunk people on the streets, right, to get like a crazy reaction or something, in hopes that it goes viral. And this one guy, in this case it did go viral, this one guy, and it looked pretty real, Like, I don't know if it was a skit or not, but it looked really real. This older guy, kind of like a biker guy looking dude, you know, jacked, and I think he had like tattoos and stuff. He was like like literally trauma dumping about like the death of his daughter or something to these random people interviewing him on the street. Like that is a very real case of like someone trauma dumping. Like that is because it's like completely it's like it's completely like unwarranted, I guess, because this guy's not talking to people he knows. Like they're not his friends, right? They're like random people on the street interviewing people. And he just like it's almost like word vomit. Like he just kind of lets it all out. Like he gives the entire backstory of like his daughter and like what happened to her. It's really sad, honestly. And I think the reaction people had were just like it was mostly shock, you know? It's like, whoa, this guy is really hurt. And it's pretty painful to watch, but yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to like give you an example of like what real trauma dumping looks like. Like if you mention like your ex once or twice on a date, that's not trauma dumping. That's like that's mainly what I'm trying to say. It's like some people are so quick to be like, "Oh, this is that," but it's really not.
So 6 years ago, I learned what complex trauma was, and I learned what the symptoms of complex PTSD were. And I realized, holy I live in a trauma response anytime I'm in a romantic relationship. Allow me to elaborate. So number one, emotional dysregulation. So my emotions were a constant up, down, anytime I was in a relationship. If I felt secure in the relationship, I was at a 10. If I felt insecure in the relationship, I was at a 0. And there was nothing in between. So it was this constant 0 to 10, 0 to 10, 0 to 10. Next would be hypervigilance. So being constantly on guard for any sign that they were going to abandon me. So constantly waiting for that other shoe to drop. Overanalyzing, overthinking things, text messages, how long it takes for them to get back to me. Did they use a period instead of an exclamation point? And then lastly would be emotional flashbacks. So anytime that my fear of abandonment would get triggered or a relationship would end, I would have these really irrational emotional reactions, like feeling like I was going to die or feeling like my life was over. Really what was going on was that I was being catapulted back to my childhood, and I was feeling the exact same feelings that I felt as a little girl growing up in an alcoholic and dysfunctional family.
Yeah, this is I don't know if this is like a new term, but it's like definitely new to me. Or I've like been hearing about it more and more lately, like these past few years, but CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Yeah, no, like this is very common now to see in like, you know, like the dating world where it's people with like baggage or unresolved emotional issues that come up when you're getting to know them or you're dating them, and it can be quite the roller coaster, I think, for both people, for both parties. Obviously, like if you suffer from this stuff, it's difficult to regulate because it can be very strong emotions. You know, if, like a literal feeling you get in your stomach, you know, in your chest. It could trigger like extreme sadness, depression, anxiety, you know, very powerful emotions, strong emotions. And obviously, if you're the person who's, you know, romantically interested in someone who suffers from these things, it can be also distressing to them, you know. It's a real shame that trauma kind of like it can spread, you know. It's almost like a I don't want to call it like a virus because that just sounds really that sounds pretty harsh, but it's kind of like you know, in a way it kind of is, because it's like this idea that can spread from like human to human, mind to mind, right? Um, and you might not even realize you're doing it. You have no control over it. People who are affected by it like don't know what's happening. It just sort of like happens, kind of like how an illness spreads, right? Um, but yeah, I don't know if that's a bad analogy, but it's interesting to think of like this is kind of nerdy and stupid, but it just made me think of it. Yeah, the plot for Metal Gear Solid 5 was about how like memes, like ideas, right, or like language can spread like a virus. These ideas that sort of like hijack your mind and infiltrate the body, the mind, similar to how like a virus would. And I don't know, it's just an interesting concept that you don't really hear about too often. It's kind of science fiction-y. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid 5, that's a good game. I think it worked, guys. I feel so much better. But anyway, I had to end on a funny one. This is kind of a heavy topic, so. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, consider giving me a thumbs up. Dislike it if you dislike it. Let me know in the comments what you think. Are you going through any of these problems right now in your dating life? Let me know in the comments. And as always, consider subscribing if you enjoy this sort of thing. It really helps me and the channel go a long way. But anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.